How did the nuclear arms race define Cold War geopolitics? Imagine a world where the threat of total destruction hangs over every decision. That was the reality during the Cold War, and the nuclear arms race was at its heart. After World War II, the United States was the first to develop atomic bombs, using them in Japan. This gave the United States a huge military advantage. But the Soviet Union quickly saw the danger and wanted its own nuclear weapons. By 1949, they had tested their first atomic bomb, ending America's monopoly. This kicked off a fierce competition to build more powerful and more numerous nuclear weapons. Both superpowers wanted to stay ahead, leading to the development of hydrogen bombs, which were hundreds of times more destructive than the original atomic bombs. The Soviets tested their first hydrogen bomb in 1961, raising the stakes even higher. The way these weapons could be delivered was just as important as their power. At first, bombers were the main method, but by the 1960s, both sides had developed intercontinental ballistic missiles and submarine-launched ballistic missiles. This created what's called the nuclear triad, meaning each side could strike back even if attacked first. This idea was called mutually assured destruction, or MAD. It made nuclear war seem impossible because both sides knew it would mean total destruction for everyone involved. This balance of terror kept the peace in a strange way, but it also created constant tension. Crises like the Berlin Crisis of 1961 and the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1960 showed how close the world came to nuclear war. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Soviet Union placed nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from the United States. For days, the world watched nervously as leaders negotiated to remove the missiles. That crisis proved how nuclear weapons could threaten global stability and influence diplomacy. It also pushed countries to create treaties like the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and the Non-Proliferation Treaty, aiming to limit nuclear testing and stop more countries from developing nuclear arms. The arms race wasn't just between the United States and the Soviet Union. Countries like the United Kingdom, France, and China also developed nuclear weapons, making the global picture even more complicated. NATO and the Warsaw Pact, the military alliances of the West and East, became key areas for nuclear strategy. The United States stationed nuclear weapons in Europe and Asia to bolster alliances and deter Soviet aggression. The race also pushed technology into space. When the Soviet Union launched Sputnik in 1957, it shocked the United States and sparked the space race. Space technology was closely linked to missile technology, and both superpowers wanted to demonstrate their technological and military superiority. This rivalry led to the creation of NASA and the first moon landing, symbolizing progress and competition. Efforts to control the arms race started in the 1960s and continued into the 1970s. Agreements like the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and the Non-Proliferation Treaty aimed to slow down the spread of nuclear weapons and reduce testing. But the arms race kept cycling through periods of escalation and temporary peace until the Cold War ended in the late 1980s. Back then, the nuclear arms race shaped every part of life. It created moments of fear and awe, like the building of the Berlin Wall or the moon landing. It was a time when technological progress was celebrated, but always shadowed by the threat of nuclear war. The competition between the superpowers defined the era, influencing politics, military strategies, and global diplomacy for decades.